Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide to master calculus in 30 days. That's right, so if you actually follow the steps that I outline in this video, you will become extremely good at calculus. Let me clarify what I mean by master calculus. So by mastering calculus, I mean you will know how to compute limits, you will know how to compute derivatives, you will know how to integrate, and you will even know some multivariable calculus, also known as Calculus 3, if you choose to do so. So this video is going to be broken up into 3 parts, so feel free to skip ahead. So first we're going to focus on the things you need before embarking on this 30-day plan of mastering calculus in 30 days. So these are things you need to do before you start this plan. So very, very important that you have, most of these things. Now you can get by with less, and we'll talk about how later in the next step. So becoming a calculus master will be the second part of this video. I'm going to give you some resources you can use to learn calculus. Now, some of these are extra good, and there's a couple that are just like necessary, especially if you want to get it done in 30 days. So you can't just like buy this book and it'll work. No. There's more to it. And then at the end of the video, I'm actually going to give you the 30-day plan, like the routine that you need to follow in order to become better at calculus. This is a structured plan that will work. If you do this, you are going to become extremely, extremely good. Again, you should be able to compute limits, find derivatives, and integrate. I mean, you can probably do it in less than 30 days. Like, you could totally do it in less than 30 days. Like, if I was with you and we were in a room every day together for a week doing mathematics, I could teach you all of this in a week or less. Like, it's not that bad. It really, really isn't. Okay, so let's get started. Let's go ahead and start with the material we need before calculus. Okay, so before calculus. So there you see the unveiling of the books. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly talk about each book because I really want to get to the calculus and I really want to talk about the 30-day plan because that's really what this video is about. The actual steps that you can take to become better at calculus in just 30 days. So I'll leave links to all of these books in the description of this video. So check those out if you're interested in any of these books. All right, so if you don't know any math, so if your math is really, really weak and you don't know any mathematics at all, then you want to start with pre-algebra. And so I've picked a pre-algebra book here. I don't have that many pre-algebra books. I am a collector of math books. I have thousands of books. I have books in other rooms. But pre-algebra, for some reason, there's just not that many books. This is the one by Lyle and Hesswood. These are reputable authors. I have other books by these people. So yeah, and it's got good examples. And basically, you can check your answers in the back of the book because it has answers to the odd-numbered exercises. So great pre-algebra book for self-study. If you don't know any math at all, start here. Now, if you already know some math and you feel like, okay, I think I can factor stuff and I have some knowledge of like the quadratic equation, you could do intermediate algebra. This is like basically a lot of algebraic manipulations. So a lot of things with numbers and fractions. There's nothing really deep here. There's no deep theory. It's just very, very mechanical. And so it can be not so fun when you're first learning for a lot of people. And I think it kind of sometimes puts people off because it's hard and there's just a lot of variables and stuff. But once you get good at it, it's easy. So important to know it. If you don't know it, you should grind through it. Okay, very, very key. If you feel like your algebra is decent, then I definitely recommend that you at least pick up this college algebra book and start here. This is College Algebra by Blitzer. This is one that I have used to teach college algebra in actual college. So this is a great book. So I've read most of it and I've done a ton of the exercises, right? I've used this book to make tests. I mean, I've spent a lot of time with this book. I use this to teach for years and it's a great book and I got to smell it. Oh, amazing. So this one is just like the intermediate one, except it has extra stuff. In particular, this is a coincidence, it has functions and graphs. So things are a little bit deeper. You've got functions, you've got graphs like parabolas. You're looking at polynomial functions and all the theory there. So a little bit deeper, a little bit harder, but you do need some of this stuff for calculus. So your algebra needs to be decent. Here's another choice for intermediate algebra that I wanted to throw in. Very similar to the Blitzer book, so I'll leave a link to this one as well. And more importantly than any of these is this one here. So for calculus, you're going to want to know algebra and trigonometry. Now, I'm going to give you a resource very, very soon in this video where you can actually skip the trig. So we're going to talk about that. I have one book here that's incredible that lets you skip trig, but it really helps if you know trig, especially for all of the other books. So only one of the books I'm going to show you gives you a free pass with trig. The other ones do require it, and you really, really should know trig. So these are the things you need to know before calculus. You could apply the same 30-day plan that I'm going to give you for calculus to these prereqs, and it would probably work as long as you're really focused on, you knew trig and your algebra was decent, then you'd be pretty much set. All right, so let's go ahead and go now and talk a little bit about the calculus. And this giant tower of books here, well, you say, why do I need so many books for calculus? And the reason I picked so many books for this video is because, it needs to be fun, right? Like if you're gonna study mathematics, you might as well make it as fun as possible, right? And so you might as well get as many cool books as you can. I mean, look how many books I have, it's ridiculous, right? And that's just some. I have more over there on the floor. But yeah, let's go ahead and start. I'm gonna start with all of these, okay? I'm gonna leave the other two at the end. So these are some books you can use to learn calculus. We're gonna talk about these, and then I'm gonna give you that 30-day plan. So this one here, let's just go in order from the stack. This is Calculus by James Stewart. This is undoubtedly the most popular calculus book in the entire world, right? Because it's popular. James Stewart was a Canadian mathematician. They say he had a house in the shape of an integral, and he passed away. He passed away several years ago. He was a millionaire he became very, very rich from these books. So very popular book. I used the early Transcendentals version when I took calculus. It's slightly different, no big deal. It's a solid book. It's not perfect, you're gonna get stuck, but it's a very, very good calculus book, and I recommend it. This one here is called Thomas Calculus. This is the 13th edition. The original book was called Calculus, and it was written by a man named George B. Thomas. And he was a professor at MIT, a very good one, and he wrote a very famous book called Calculus. So his legacy lives on today. This has been revised by other authors. I'll leave a link to all of these, by the way. And if you get older editions, just know that they'll be slightly different. It's no big deal. The older editions of Thomas Calculus, like the original one, I felt like it had, like in some of the sections, there's more like derivations and stuff like that, and there's less examples that are easy. The newer ones have better pictures and more examples that are more appropriate for like exams and stuff. So yeah, I think it's good to have both copies. I have like 3 different editions of this book. Totally worth it. I wanted to include this one because I know some of you like rare books. So this is The Calculus with Analytic Geometry by Louis Leithold. This is the first book that was popular that had a very easy to read approach that was really built with the student in mind and was created for self-study. In some sense, this is the calculus book that changed the world of calculus book. So there's this old movie, it's called Stand and Deliver. And in the movie, it's about this guy, Jaime Escalante. He was this teacher in California, and his students all passed the AP exam, and then everyone thought they cheated, and so they made them take the exam again. And it's because the students were like from like a lower income neighborhood or something, and so like, oh, there's no way these kids can pass calculus. And so they were accused of cheating, and then they passed, like they aced it. So Jaime Escalante was a real person, right? He was a Bolivian-American mathematician, teacher, and his mentor was Louis Leithold. So Louis Leithold has a bunch of really famous books, but they're all super rare, right? So I collect Louis Leithold books. This is one of them. All right, so there it is, Louis Leithold. I just wanted to explain that if you're still with me. Yeah, so great book, very exciting stuff. This is an old one. This is Richard E. Johnson, Fred L. Kilkmeister. I've never talked about this book. This is an older book on calculus. I'll leave a link. This is another resource you could use. This is undoubtedly not the most, the Stewart book is the most popular. This is probably the most famous. It's called Calculus and was written by Michael Spivak. He also passed away several years ago. He was a brilliant mathematician, and I think what happened was like he was fed up with academia, and so he started his own publishing company, and he titled it Publish or Perish, kind of like to indicate that in academia, if you don't publish, you perish. And so this is his book that came from his publishing company. This book is famous because of the way it's written. It doesn't cover that much calculus, and in fact, you're going to learn a lot of topics with this 30-day plan that I'm going to give you soon, and probably more topics than what's in here. This has like a lot of deep mathematics. You're going to focus more on computational stuff. So this is good if you want to extend your learning. Just know that it is way harder than any of the calculus books that I have shown you so far. So yeah, it's mainly for honor students. So it does less, but it does it well. Another choice here for calculus, College Calculus with Analytic Geometry by Prouder and Mori. A nice old book. And these are fun. I've got to give it away. Let's briefly go through this one. Just a modern book here by Bittinger, Ellenbogen, and Sargent. This is the instructor's edition. Just another choice for modern books. I'll leave a link as well. You can check the prices, but all of these are awesome. So there's two left here. I've left the best for last. So this book, if you can find it, get it. Okay, I will try to leave a link. I don't know if there will be any copies because this is used in colleges. I've used this to teach in college, to teach classes that are in calculus for like business majors and stuff. So people who don't know any trig. So you can use this book to learn calculus without trig. And it's incredible. Okay, so this is going to be one of the key components of the 30-day plan, is having a book like this. If you don't get this book, if you can't get it, right, these are all great too, right? But this is going to really help make the plan work better. If you can't get this, then you definitely can't get this one, because this one is new, it's widely available, and it's super inexpensive. This one's going to be very expensive, but I think it's worth every penny. But this one, it's probably less than $25, probably less than 20, maybe 10, 15. I definitely paid less than 25. I bought this new on Amazon. I got to smell it. And so the reason this one is so good is because you can just start doing derivatives right away, right? Like you can just start doing calculus day one, okay? So like on the first day of your 30-day plan, you can start doing calculus, right? That's key, you see? And it has topics from Calc 1, Calc 2, and Calc 3, which is pretty cool. All right, so now we've talked about the books. Let's go to the 30-day plan and let's spend some time talking about that, because that is really critical. You can have all the books in the world, right? But if you don't know how to use them, if you don't have a strategy, then you're just going to stare at them and think about how you wish you could learn math and you're not doing it. So 30-day plan, I made like a little thing here with talking points. So this 30-day plan requires that you do math every single day. So for 30 days, you're going to have to do math every day. Now you might say, well, when should I do the math, right? Well, some people say like, well, after I go to work, I can come home and do math at night. That's fine, that's great. This plan does not say that though. And the reason is I'm going to assume that your life is already busy, and I do not want to take time away from your life with this 30-day plan. Instead, I want to create more time for you. So what you're going to do is you're going to create time in your day. You might say, how is that possible? Well, you're going to get up early, right? And you're going to get up at least an hour early every single day. I know that sounds pretty hardcore and harsh, but at least an hour early every single day, okay? An hour minimum. So like if normally you get up at 7 a.m., you have to start getting up at 6. And what that does is it lets you get up, stretch your feet, have your coffee, go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, whatever you're going to do. If you eat in the morning first, if you're a morning person, you eat first. If you don't eat right away, that's even better, because you can just get started, study for a little while, and then have breakfast, So get up early and make it a routine every single day. So again, if you get up at 7 a.m. normally, get up at 6 a.m., okay? And then get to work ASAP and work for as long as you can, okay? Every single day. Before I keep going, I just want to say one thing that's really important. You have to want to learn calculus to do this, right? You have to want to, because what's going to happen is, for many people, right, you'll watch this video, then tomorrow you'll be like, I don't really want to get up. No, it just sounds good, but I don't really want to do it. You will want to do it when you realize that if you really want to learn calculus, then you'll do it. I mean, yeah, that's what it comes down to. So get up early, an hour early every single day. Super, super key. Now, when you get up early, your focus is math, okay? You need to get up and you need to have a sense of urgency every single morning. So you get up at 6 and you're like, okay, math, it's calculus time. You need to want it. That sense of urgency was what's going to get you to actually do mathematics. And you can't have that unless you really want to learn math. So focus on math, okay? Also, by focus on math, I wanted to write something down, but I didn't. You want to focus on doing math problems. So yes, it's fun to read. You can wake up and read Spivak and spend 30 minutes reading it and not solve any problems, right? So focus on math. Focus on these two books here or other books. The other ones are more advanced, okay? These are the easier books. That's why I say focus on these, especially this one, okay? And I'll leave a link to this one at the very top of the video so you can get it, because it's the cheapest one, and I have a really cool story to tell you about this book. If I remember, I'll tell you at the end of the video. So focus on math, right? Get to work right away. And the moral is that you can do it, okay? You can do it. Okay, you can do it. If you get up an hour early every single day and you just get to work on this, you can do it. So now I'm going to show you how to actually do it. Let's use this book as the example because this is the one that most people, if you're still watching this video, if you buy a book, you'll probably get this one because it's the cheapest one. Now it's not the best one, okay? The other books actually have more content. They're actual textbooks. This is just the best one for you right now following this plan. So here we go. So you see, it starts with derivatives of polynomials, the chain rule, product rule, quotient rule. So you could easily do a chapter a day. Easy. Although some of them are a little bit harder, like this right here. This is some harder Calc 2 stuff. This is Calc 3 stuff. You see, you can learn Calc 3 with this book. You would know some Calculus 3, right? You would know some. So in some sense, you're learning, Calc 1, 2, 3, 3 subjects in 30 days. It's ridiculous. Now, you're not going to know everything in Calc 3, but in some sense, right? You're going to master, you're going to know how to do the core things. So let me show you how this works. You wake up in the morning, right? Day one. So this is your day one. Derivatives of polynomials. You read this. You say, what's a derivative? Well, I'll just tell you. If you have a function f of x, you could think of the derivative as the slope of that function. That's one way to think about it. Or the instantaneous rate of change, assuming the derivative exists. So you read all this stuff, right? And if you don't understand it, you can skip it. It's okay. And then it's got examples. Look at the examples. They're so cool. All you do is bring the number down and subtract 1 from the exponent. So it'll be 4t cubed. Boom. There it is. Spends all that time explaining it. It's almost like a video, right? I feel like McMullen's books, this is Chris McMullen's the author. It's almost like a YouTube video. He spends so much time. And then you keep going. And then look at all these examples you have, right? And you can write in the book, right? And if you use like the Stewart book, it's going to take you, you're going to spend all this time on limits. And you won't get here. It'll take you forever to get here. This is the stuff you need to know. Like if you're going to take a calculus class and pass it, you need to know how to compute stuff. You need to know how to compute derivatives. Here's more derivative stuff. Second derivatives. This is epic. Limits and L'Hopital's rule. This is Calc 2 usually, right? So yeah, I mean, you could be doing calculus 2 in a week. I mean, it's pretty incredible. Now, let's go back to the plan because I did say get up early, and I said at least an hour. If you can get up earlier than that, go for it, right? If you can do 2 hours, even 3 hours, if you're really feeling like this is it, like you have to make this happen, whatever it takes, right? Whatever it takes, whatever you feel is necessary. But yeah, that's my advice. I think you can do it. I think you can become really good at calculus. I mean, 30 days, and if you get up early every day, at least an hour, you will know so much. After these 30 days, you should be able to pretty much walk into any calculus class at any college and take it and ace it. Because you're going to be so good, right? The teacher will be explaining stuff. You're like, oh yeah, I know what a derivative is. I had that experience when I took C programming. I went to college because I wanted to get a PhD in computer science. So I didn't know anything about anything. And I went in there and I took a programming class and I just felt like a god because I already knew programming. So that's how you'll feel. So if you learn calculus before going to college, because you'll walk in there and you'll just know everything. If you're taking calculus now, by the way, you can easily apply this plan to improve your grades. I mean, wow, if you're in a calculus class now and you got up at least an hour early every day, you should become a monster because you already know some calculus, even if you're confused. I mean, you already know some stuff, right? Imagine if you got up early, and the morning is a great time to work, right? When you get up really, really early in the morning and you do mathematics, that's when your mind is fresh. I mean, you just have some coffee and then just get to work and you got it. And you got it. Oh, I got to smell this one. This is an epic book. This is an epic book. Oh, amazing. Oh, I told you I'd tell you a story. Yeah, no, maybe not. So I will leave that out of the video, but it's a good story. Basically, someone who knows Chris McMullen, a relative of his, I don't want to say any names or anything. The person emailed me and they were like, oh, I saw your video. And they just said that they are very happy to see that I made a video on this book. And so I thought that was really cool. I was like, oh, I saw the video I made. I've talked about this book in the past several times because it's such a great little workbook. I started to write a workbook kind of like this one, and I wanted to put it on Amazon so people here could buy it and stuff. And what happened is I lost the files. I was like 80%, 70% done with the book, and I don't know where the files are. I lost them, and that was on a different computer, which has been wiped. So I think those are gone forever. Yep. But this one you can buy. It's good. It's inexpensive. And you should be able to get through like I think you can get through a chapter a day on some of these. It just depends how much time you have, how much you know, and how good you are. I mean, that's a lot of reading there, but some of the other chapters, well, chain rule and product rule is going to have a lot. Oh, check this out too. In the back of the book, obviously, you have solutions, full solutions to every single problem, right? And these full solutions are like the solutions you find in videos on YouTube. They're not like the solutions you find in these other books. You could buy a solutions manual for Stewart's calculus, and the solutions will not look like the solutions in McMullen's book. No. These are better, right? He has better solutions, in my opinion. So I have a lot of respect for this book, even though it's like some workbook that you can get on Amazon. It's not as hardcore as these books, but the value it'll bring to your learning is epic, right? It's epic. You can learn a lot of math sometimes from unusual sources, right? Because you look at a book like this and you say, oh, this is a collectible, it's rare, it's got a lot of really hardcore mathematics. It does have a lot of really beautiful explanations. It's an excellent book, right? And it just has a lot more than this one. But this one might be better suited for this 30-day plan because it's more simple and more to the point. And if you're on a time constraint, this is the kind of book you need. So yeah. Oh, before I forget, I actually do have my own courses, which you could buy if you wanted to. They're on Udemy, which is a reputable place to have math courses. I have courses on trigonometry and algebra, so you can have the prereqs for calculus. I have courses on calculus 1, 2, and 3. And I have multiple courses on calculus. They're all great. So yeah, you can get them. They're on Udemy. If you get them, use the links from the description of this video or from my website, freemathvids.com or mathsorcerer.com. And check out those courses. Those can help you as well. Anyways, kind of a long video. I just wanted to make it because you can learn a lot of math in a short period of time. You really can. And I think people don't realize that. The secret is to getting into a routine and doing it every day, right? You just get up early and you do it. And I think that's the best way to do anything in life. Get up early and do it and get it done, right? Because that way you've conquered the day. So go out there and conquer the day. Good luck.